Hello everyone. So today we'll be learning about LLP, that is limited liability partnership, and LLP in comparison with general partnership, and LLP in comparison with a company. We'll be studying in the distinguished factors. Guys, it's very important. In case you have not watched my previous video about what is partnership, what is company, and if you've not learned about the difference between company and this one, please don't come away because you won't understand anything. Go watch those videos first, because if you go to my playlist on company law, you'll find all this kind of videos first. Go watch all these videos, then only come back away. If your basics is strong only, you can construct a pillar, or else there's no point of me sitting and teaching, right? So I kindly request you to go watch that videos, only then come back away. If your concepts are clear of the remaining 3 videos, then this video, it's like a cakewalk for you. Now, what do you understand by limited liability partnership? I already taught you, right? What is partnership? The partnership, if I'll just take a yellow pen, this time I'll take yellow. Yeah, okay, it's yellow. Fine. So what is the meaning of partnership? The partnership we already learned, and what are the important concepts under partnership? Partnership, how many members are required? Minimum 2. And it is basically a business carried on for what? It is a business carried on for getting profit. Very simple. And how many people are there in a partnership? 2 people are jointly running a business. Maximum is 10, sometimes it's 20, depending on banking and non-banking. Now it's a time for us to understand what is limited liability partnership. Now if you learn, partnership is always unlimited liability, no, I already explained to you. But how is it now limited liability partnership? That's called as the limited liability partnership comes into the Limited Liability Partnership Act of 2008. Now what happened? A new norm of form of business association called as LLP was set up. So it's a business association. So a business and association, every member of an LLP is deemed to be an agent of an LLP. So every member of an LLP is deemed to be an agent. So who are how many ever members are there in LLP? They're all deemed to be what? They're all deemed to be the members of an LLP. When registered with registrar of the companies, an LLP is incorporated as separate personality. Understood? That means that when registered with the registrar of the companies, an LLP is incorporated as separate personality. Now I want to understand that the member of an LLP are not directly responsible for its debts, and law related to the general partnership and does not apply. See guys, in partnership we learned that a partner is responsible for everything, but in LLP these partners are not responsible for all the acts. Okay, they're not directly responsible for the debt. But what is very important for you to, so as I was just telling, here our LLP is basically a separate personality, and they're not responsible for the debt. However, the liability is limited for general trading debts only. The individual partners will not be able to limit their personal liability or authorized acts and fraud. So anything like fraud or any kind of fraudulent action is happening, they'll be completely responsible for it. Okay, very simple. If there is any kind of fraud aspect, any fraud, or if there is any act which is violation of this one, then they'll be completely held liable. Or else these limited liability partnership are basically, it's like a form of they work as an agent system, and it's like exactly like a business, and along with that they're not responsible for the debts, and as well as even for other important aspects, like they'll be responsible for fraudulent and other means. Now let's look into the comparison factors over here. Comparison with general partnership and company, like we are putting the concept of LLP in the form of a comparison with general partnership and a company. So guys, if you observe in the general partnership, what are the things we discussed? Let me just change the color. The color is very dull. Yeah, now it'd be better. Now the comparison with general partnership and company is that there is separate legal personality and it is different from general partnership. So here also it is basically a separate legal entity. Company is different, people are different. Okay, same concept is even applied over here, but whereas what here it is a body corporation with a separation legal personality. Whereas remember, so it doesn't come under the ambit of exactly like a partnership, but it can come as a separate legal entity. That means that separate legal personality, and it's different from general partnership, which is not separate from its members. So they are a separate legal entity, but it's not separate from its members, and it is a legal personality and is similar to the functioning of a company. Okay, now can be formed only by 2 or more persons. So in a general partnership, it can be formed by how many people? It can only be formed by 2 or more persons, whereas in a company, they can form up to by 1 person, it can be formed. It's the same procedure itself. The must go through the process of incorporation, and it is different from a GP. So here it is compulsory for him to go through incorporation, whereas in other factors, incorporation is not required. Now, if you observe over here, must go through the process of incorporation and must submit all the documents before granting the certification of incorporation. Here also, it should go through incorporation. Here also, certification process is compulsory. No joint or several liability as in the case of general partnership. So here it is no joint or several liability. They're not completely solely liable, only to an extent they're liable. Like a company, members are the agents of LLP and not for another one. Another, no liability for members for another's wrongdoing. So in the company, for other person's wrongdoing, they cannot be held liable. Who? This LLP people, they have limited liability in a company, but they can be caught only in the name of fraud and other aspect. They could be caught. Now, the limited liability option enables the partners to limit the liability to the debt. Okay, so here limited liability, here it is basically limiting only to the debts and not to other factors. But here members enjoy limited liability, and it's in the case of company. So in the case of partnership, what happens? The LLP applies in which manner? The LLP will be applying in a limited liability manner. In a limited liability manner, that means that only little you are liable, but not for all aspects. It's not like partnership. Partnership, it is unlimited. Here it is limited, and here they enjoy. In a company, the members enjoy the limited liability. Now, these are the important components we discussed today. Quickly summarizing, we learned about what is LLP. It's like a business association. That's it. Very simple as that. Then we learned about other important aspects like how many members are required, how many members are not required for it, and incorporation is it required, incorporation is it not required. Then we learned about what in an LLP we learned about how they have limited liability, right? So what are the things they'll be responsible? They'll be responsible only to certain factors. But in the case of fraud, they'll be completely responsible. Okay, under corporate we'll be learning that. Now then we learned about LLP comparison with general partnership and a company. So here separate personality, and it is different from and it is no different from its members. So it's like they are separate persons, and it's like a company, same structure over here. See, a body corporation, separate personality here, but here the separate legal personality is different from GP, and there's no separate from its members. Okay, it's not separate from here. In the company it is separate, but here there's no kind of separation. They're together always. Now, can be formed only by two or more persons. Here it can be like more than two or more persons, can like more than one person can start. In LLP, what happens? Go through the process of incorporation. Sign incorporation process is required. Even in LLP, in comparison to company, incorporation is required. So no joint severe liability is not there. Here it is, the members are the agents of LLP and not for another, no liability for members for another's wrongdoing. So here the liability is very limited, but for others wrongdoing, they can also be like within their permit. If they're doing a wrongdoing, then they can be held liable. Then we learned about limited liability option enables the partners to the liability of its debt. They're liable only towards their debt. Here they are not that much. Okay, members enjoy limited liability in the case of a company, but here it is in the case of debt, but here it is basically no chance of interference with the debt. That's all. Hope you liked it. If you do like it, please do like, share, and subscribe, and do let me know your views in the comments.